Well, thank you, everybody, and welcome, and thanks for being here. I got a book here, and I don't know what to do with it. I'll just talk. We're all proud of the Army Caucus. We're proud to be in the Army Caucus. But when I heard yesterday how many stars were going to be in the room today, I checked with the architect of the Capitol to make sure we could carry the weight in this room. If you look around the room, I just learned that General Milley, that he has a gathering of his 4 stars this week, and we are blessed to have all of them with us, and that is a big honor. But all the colonels are thinking they're going to have to go for coffee now. So be nice, everybody. Be nice. You know, we send some awfully fine young men and women out to war, and I've been doing a lot of reading about the readiness of the Army lately. When you make friends with General Milley, he inundates you with books. And I've been reading them. And I've been reading about what has happened to us when we weren't ready. And the disaster that was. And then I've been reading some reports about some of the things that our prospective enemies, people who might be our enemies, are developing so that they feel that they will be able to dominate us on the battlefield. We have to wake up. We have to wake up America. We have to wake up this town and tell them it's time to give us the tools so we will never go to war where we don't dominate the battlefield. It is so very important that we make sure that not only do we provide all the good things, the benefits, the training, and all things for our soldiers, but the equipment that is new, ready, and will allow us to always be superior on the battlefield. And our enemies are working very hard to lower that standard for our Army. So I want to remind each of you how important it is to think about the Army when you're thinking about defense. Because when all the explosions end and the planes are parked, it takes the guy with the rifle to go in and finish up the mess. And it always has, and it always will. And so you're in a room full of people that have great responsibilities on their shoulders. We thank them for taking on those responsibilities. We as members of Congress, and I look around the room and see a lot of you, get a lot more out. Let's turn out people for our Army. Let's get this. We couldn't use much more room in here, and I agree with my friend Ruppersberger. We ought to at least be able to afford tables. I mean, I know it's a cutback, and we're making it tight.
I'll get with Specialist Howerton.
You see what I mean? You see what I mean? So it's very important that we get this done. It's very important we tighten up the gap between what others are able to put on the battlefield. We have the superior, we have the brains, we have the know-how, we have the industry that can do it. Now we have to get this money and get to work and rebuild the armies. If we rebuild the Army, we will be ready. And it's all about readiness, no matter where they be, in the east or in the west. We can look them straight in the eye, and they'll know we're coming from a position of power. And if they know that, I think we will maintain what we all are about, peace in this country. So, now it's my job and my actually pleasure to introduce you to the happiest football fan in America. The Army won and the Patriots won, and the minute I watched the end of that Patriots game, I said, I'll never be able to live with Milley. General Milley, the 39th Chief of Staff of the Army, welcome.
Yeah.
So that's true. You know, I was born in Boston, but I got to Texas as fast as I could. And Congressman Carter is my congressman from the great state of Texas, and I will say that Texas has made a major contribution to the national security of the United States. In that, in Houston, Texas, they start fit to free Tom Brady. So thank you. Thanks for the contributions to Texas. and the Patriots. So, but both Congressman Berger and Judge Carter, thanks so much for doing this, and all the members that are here and staff are here. Thanks. I do want to put a plug in just real quick. Things like this don't happen by magic. There's a ton of food on that table over there, and that's coming out of your budgets. Please consume that chow. I know the staffers are hungry, so feel free to eat that chow. But thanks to everybody for being here. Just a couple of things kind of reinforce what Judge Carter was just saying. And you know some of the folks that are here, please get to know them. But there's a couple of things I would really ask congressional support on, regardless of what comes out of the speech tonight. First is please, please, please get rid of sequestration BC. It's I don't know mechanically like how to do it. That's kind of in your lane sort of thing. But that is so deadly to the defense of the United States. It prohibits us from doing rational planning in any sort of multi-year way, and it's really hurting us across the entire government, but specifically in the military. So whatever you can do, and I know there's some significant issues in there, and I know that these folks have very strong feelings on it, and I understand all that, but that is hurting the United States of America, and it's hurting the United States military. So please do what you can to get rid of that. Secondly, is that, in my professional opinion, the United States Army, and more broadly the military, but the Army is really getting outgunned and outranged and frankly outdated on the battlefield. There are reasons for it. We've gone over it 1,000 times. We're focusing on counterinsurgency and counterterrorism for the last 15 years. There are now peer threats: Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, regional peers anyway. And these are very serious, very dangerous threats, and I'm happy to discuss those at length with anyone who's interested. But they're very real. And the readiness of our force is crucial to avoid a Task Force Smith, a Kasserine Pass, where thousands, in fact tens of thousands, of American soldiers and sailors and airmen and Marines in wars gone by have given their lives because America wasn't necessarily ready and up to the task at the beginning of the war. We never want to repeat that. We never, ever, ever want to repeat that. And right now, the gaps are rapidly closing in some niche areas, and they're all classified, so I'm not going to go over them here, but some niche areas give me great concern. So our task, my task as the Chief of Staff of the Army, Bob Spear's task as the Secretary of the Army, Congress's task to raise and maintain an Army, and frankly the President's task, in my view, is to make us bigger. That's task one. We've got to increase the capacity of the United States military, the size of the military. And secondly, we've got to increase the capability, the skills, the lethality of the military. And the last one is the modernization. We have to do that. Yes, is it expensive? Yes, it's unbelievably expensive. Now, I'm a citizen as well as a general. I pay taxes just like everybody else. I know that is really expensive. But you can take it to the bank. It's an insurance policy. To have a very strong, capable, sizable military deters war. It prevents wars. It's peace through strength, like George Washington said. That is so critical because there's nothing more expensive than fighting and losing a war. I mean, the most expensive thing is fighting a war to begin with, right? But the worst thing you can do is fight and lose a war, lose tens of thousands of kids because you weren't necessarily ready or you encouraged some opponent to be aggressive. And if there's one thing we've learned from 10,000 years of recorded history, is weakness invites aggression. It absolutely does. I don't know necessarily why, and I'm not going to get into all the science and political science and international politics behind it, but it does. Over and over and over again. The weakness invites aggression. So having a strong, capable, sizable military, and your opponent knowing it, deters the war in the first place. So I would ask for your support in increasing the size and capability and the readiness of the United States Army. It's so fundamental to maintaining peace and maintaining our position in the world. I'll stop there, and at this point I'd like to introduce Bob Spear, who's the Acting Secretary of the Army. Let me say one thing though. Bob Spear, although he's the Acting Secretary of the Army, He's a true pro. He's been around a long time. Retired colonel out of the United States Army. Technically, he's a political appointee, but in reality, he's not. He's actually a pure bipartisan, straight down the middle, nonpartisan type of professional public servant. He's a great, selfless individual. I've known him for a long time. He's done our country great, and you would be very, very proud of him as to what he's doing every single day as the Acting Secretary of the Army to help us steer the way to the future. So with that, I'd like to introduce the Acting Secretary of the Army, Bob Spear.